What's up, gang? Today I wanted to share with you a awesome mobility drill for the thoracic spine to link your shoulders with your pelvis and give you a little bit more rotational capacity. This is awesome for people that find them hunched over on their phones, on their computer, sitting in cars a lot. Pretty much everyone living in a modern world today. So there's around 4 phases to this exercise. Each one I'm going to break down that increase in the amount of rotation you need. So start with phase 1 and I'll walk you through them, so hopefully you enjoy. So to start, all we're going to need is a place to lay down. A mat is nice to make it a little bit softer for you, and a towel to rest your head on. So if you're a little bit bigger and have bigger shoulders, you might need a little bit higher of a towel. If you're a little bit smaller, the towel can be a little bit smaller. So phase 1, what we're going to do, this is going to be my right side, so lie down on my left. We want the head to be in good alignment. You can see my spine's pretty straight. We're going to keep the hip joint at 90 degrees, right? So this is the 90-degree angle. The knees are at 90 degrees. We're going to stretch the arms out, and then we're going to pull our shoulder blades back with good posture. So for phase 1, we're going to put the hand on the forehead, all right? And the eyes are always going to follow the elbow crease. So I'm going to close the book on the exhale. And then on my inhale, I'm going to keep the shoulders back and rotate as far as I comfortably can. And you'll probably get some restriction here in the rib cage, in the mid-back. And then exhale on the way back. So we inhale. When we're doing this, we want to use the least amount of force possible. So it shouldn't be extremely tough. As I reach this end range restriction, kind of hang out here, and then come back in. With every rep, you should get a little bit more mobility in it. And we're going to do 10 to 20 repetitions per side, always making sure that we keep good posture while we're in that position. Keep our shoulders back. Reach almost with the chest as we go. So I'll show you from this again. Reaching the chest so that we're not rounding forward, right? We want to stay in this upright, good posture position. Open up. Keep this knee down. And every time you should get a little bit more mobility, opening up a little bit more and a little bit less restriction. So around 10 to 20 repetitions per side, moving with the breath, nice and slow, and using the inhale and the exhale to help get a little mobility. So that's if you've completed phase 1 of the Feldenkrais shoulder spine integrator. Now we can move to phase 2, which is just a little bit more range of motion. So we're going to lie down here again. Remember, hips are at 90 degrees, knees are at 90 degrees. Arms out, good posture, head in neutral alignment on the pillow. And instead of placing the hand on the forehead, what we're going to do is we're just going to slide our finger along our bottom arm, right? And then to our chest until we reach this range of motion. So the head is still looking at the elbow crease. And then we inhale on the way back through the nose. Find that end range. You should feel restriction in the mid-back. Sometimes I even feel it in the hip a little bit because this hip is locked down. And then we exhale. So some of you might only be able to get to here, and that's all right. Right? As we go through the exercise, try to build in a little bit more range of motion each rep. And then I'll show you a full repetition. Inhale. Stick the chest out, shoulders back. Remember, we're trying to use the least amount of force possible with every repetition. It shouldn't be extremely exerting. You shouldn't be putting a lot of effort into it. Just looking for that mobility, trying to keep good posture, shoulders back, lead with the chest.
and gain a little bit of more mobility each repetition. Again, 10 to 20 repetitions per side. Usually people have one side that's a little bit tougher than the other one. I like to start with the tougher side, give it a little bit more mental focus with that. So try that out, that's phase 2. So looking at phase 3, the Feldenkrais shoulder spine integrator. Phase 1, we had our hand on the forehead, getting range of motion in the thoracic spine. Phase 2, we slid along the forearm, getting a little bit more mobility in that thoracic spine and our rotational capability. And now for phase 3, we're gonna get the legs involved a little bit. So still the same position, head resting on the towel, great posture, shoulders back. You can even put a little gap down in this hip to keep the hips up, right? So keep the hips from sagging. So hips at 90, knees at 90. And then what we're actually gonna do is we're gonna disassociate the shoulders from the hip. So we're gonna keep our upper body in place, and we're gonna slide our pelvis back, which is gonna move the knee and the femur along this line of action. And we're gonna pull it back on the inhale, and the exhale, move it forward. So notice my upper body isn't moving. I'm drawing the pelvis back, my top side, so this would be my right side, and then shifting, pushing the pelvis forward. Trying not to move the upper body and keep good posture with it. And I feel a little bit of restriction in the back side of this hip when I draw it back. Again, the restrictions are different for everyone. And we're going to do 10 to 20 reps per side. That's phase 3. That might seem a little bit easy at first, but phase 4 is integrating phase 3, the bottom, with phase 2, the top. So keep an eye out for that, and look forward to integrating everything and working through phase 4. All right, guys, phase 4 of the Feldenkrais shoulder spine integrator. We started with phase 1, lying on the ground, hand on the forehead, working through that motion. Right, phase 2 is when we started sliding along the inside of the bottom arm, working that full rotational capability in the upper body. And then we actually worked with the lower body, right? So in that same position, shifting our upper leg back and forward through the pelvis. And now with phase 4, we're gonna integrate the upper body and the lower body together. So again, 10 to 20 reps each side. This same position, shoulders back, head in good alignment. Keeping this hip bridge up, this little space down here, down by your side. And then, so phase 2, we're here. Phase 3, we're here. And we're actually gonna move them in opposite directions. So as I inhale and come back with my upper body, my lower body, I'm gonna push my knee forward. So they're stretching away from each other on the inhale, right? And then on the exhale, I'm closing the book, I'm moving my upper body forward, and I'm gonna pull my pelvis, that back position, right? Moving the pelvis this way. So I'll show you a rep. Remember, least amount of force possible during this mobility drill, looking to gain little marginal benefits each rep. And I'll show you a few. We inhale. Shoulders back, chest up. All right, we inhale, lead with the chest, knee goes forward. Now, the toughest part about phase 4 is timing the movements together, because my knee is really only making about that much of a movement, but my arm is making this much of a movement, and you want to synonymously reach the end points at the same time. So the hand's got to travel a lot greater of a distance, and the upper body's got to rotate a little bit more than that lower body is, but we want to push them and reach the end motions at the same time. It's a lot of integration, but 10 to 20 repetitions of that, once you've worked through all the phases, is going to be awesome for rotational capabilities, keeping that spine healthy, and just an awesome time to focus on your body and build some proprioception. So hopefully you love that. Phase 4 is a great
mobility drill that you can institute throughout the day. Before work, when you wake up in the morning, before exercise is awesome. They give you a little bit more mobility for when we get into the various types of exercise that you're going to be doing. Try that out, 10 to 20 repetitions. Let me know what you think and if you guys are enjoying this or not. Thanks for watching, guys.